Good morning, Quadcopter 101 here, and I have a neat new drone for you folks. And this tiny little package here is a really cool drone. It's one of these new GPS drones, under $100 GPS drones. I think actually this one's going for about $67 right now on Banggood. But let's take a look at it. It's got a lot of interesting features that are a little bit different than what you normally expect on a drone. Taking it out of its box, it feels actually well made, okay? This does not feel toyish, is what I'm saying here, folks. But notice how you open it up. Okay, normally the folding drones fold out 4 different arms. It's 2 cross braces that open up like that, and with pusher props instead of puller props on the top. So, this is very different than what we normally see in a drone. Let's take other parts out of the package, including the controller and the optional accessory package with this, and we'll go over what's in that accessory package here shortly, and then the instruction manuals too. So let me get these out and put them on the table, also with the carrying case that comes with this. I'll put the carrying case right there. Okay, let's go over the drone. Again, I mentioned it's folding for portability. It weighs only 202 grams with the battery inserted. Let me pull the battery out to show you that. And I got a second battery upstairs and bring it down here. We're going to need the battery to talk about that too here shortly. But I'll put it there. And it has brushless motors, okay, which is great. We expect brushless motors these days, folks. I would not recommend buying brushed motors drones these days, folks, because unless it's a real toy, a pure toy drone, because everybody's going brushless these days. Brushless motors are finally coming into affordability for most drones, okay, making most drones affordable to install them on most drones, even beginner toy grade drones. I'm seeing them, but there are some very cheap drones, like in the under $15 class, that you wouldn't expect to see a brush motor drone. But this one has it, brushless motors. One other thing this has, which is cool, is it has GPS. That enables this drone to return to home, or actually to hover in midair without you maintaining that hover manually. Additionally, it has the ability to return to home and land on command and on loss of signal from the controller. It also returns within 20-meter radius of its takeoff point on low battery. So it has 3 versions of return, again, on low battery, on command, and on loss of signal from the controller. It'll return within 6 seconds of loss of signal. Additionally, it has optical flow sensor in the belly for indoor flying without using a GPS. Indoors, you normally can't pick up GPS signal. This will take its place indoors, so it would automatically hover in place when flying indoors. Other things it has obstacle avoidance, folks. Little infrared obstacle avoidance sensors on the sides, on the front, on the back, and even on the belly. I'm not sure actually if these are obstacle avoidance sensors. It doesn't really say what these are. I'm assuming they're obstacle avoidance, but it has 2 little sensors on the belly too of this particular drone. Now, it is powered by a 7.4 volt 1600 milliampere hour battery, which is charged with a Type-C USB cable. Now, since this is 7.4 volt 1600 milliampere hour, I recommend that you use a good 2 amp wall charger. This takes a long time to charge this particular battery. If you try to charge this using a computer, your USB computer port, it's going to take you a good couple days to charge it. But using a 2 amp wall charger, it'll charge it within about 2 hours. Other things it has, this camera records video, and it does have a camera on it, in 1080p at 25 frames per second. And it takes photos also at 8K photos. Now, those 8K photos are simply interpolated still grabs of the video, okay, that are blown up to 7680 by 4320 pixels. It's not true true 8K, folks. Again, it's 1080p that's been electronically enlarged. So it's not that's not a big selling point of this particular drone. Now, this mount that the camera is mounted on, it has remote control ability. This can swivel it full down to full up. Okay, you can look full down with this camera, or look straight above with this camera, and all points in between. And it's remotely controlled using the controller. And I'll try to demonstrate that when we go flying out in the field. Now, this drone uses the RX Drone app. And with the RX Drone app, you're able to view the video and record the video and photos to your phone. Okay, there is no SD card slot on this in this cheap drone for recording video to SD cards. So you're going to get the inherent problems that you normally see with Wi-Fi video, probably some freezing and some dropped frames. But the advantage of this is it uses 802.11 AC Wi-Fi, 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi, so there should be no interference with the controller when you go flying. And because of that, you should be able to get pretty good range, FPV range with this. Now they're predicting 500 millimeters FPV, or 500 meters FPV range. I don't find that entirely believable, but I would expect to at least get about 200 meters with this. So at least 200 meters. So hopefully, maybe it does go out to 500 meters. We'll find out when we go flying, but I'm expecting something around 200 meters is what you normally see with these. Now this controller does have an antenna. This one's a real antenna on this controller, and this controller is supposed to give you 2 kilometers range of control range with a controller. But again, with FPV range only out to about 500 meters, or a couple hundred meters, a few hundred meters, what's the good of that? You're not going to be able to see this drone past that point there. Okay, you'll be flying blind, in other words. So let's go over the controller. There's a lot of buttons that you need on this controller you should need to know about. First off, we have a rate scroll wheel here. You can increase the speed of the drone, the pitch angle of the drone, to increase the speed by moving the scroll wheel to the right, and slow it down by moving to the left. Similarly, there's a scroll wheel on the right side here, and this is for raising and lowering the camera using that gimbal there. So remote control of that camera lens to move it up and down. This button here is for taking photos with a quick press, and a long press for starting the video recording. This button here is for entering headless mode. This drone does have headless mode capability. This button here is for automatic landing, return to home and landing. And this button here is for turning off the GPS. Now, why would you want to turn off the GPS? In case you want to fly indoors, okay? To fly indoors, you turn off the GPS by pressing this button here. And also, if you want to turn on those optical avoidance sensors indoors, they only work indoors, folks, by the way. I forgot to mention that. But to turn them on indoors, you press and hold down the return to home button for 2 seconds. You'll hear a beep, and then that turns on the optical flow sensors for indoor flying. It has an on-off switch right here. Let me open it up and show you what you get with this. And it has also a nice telemetry screen. I don't know if that's coming through. Let me see. Of course not. It's not. This always gets whited out on my screen here. But you do have, tells you if the GPS is on or off. You have the height of the drone telemetry. You have the distance to the drone's telemetry. It tells you if you're in low rate or high rate. Additionally, it tells you mode 1 or mode 2. GPS is mode 1. Mode 2 would be flying in optical flow mode. Additionally, it tells you if you're recording with camera or video. It tells you how many satellites you're receiving, up to 18 satellites. And it also gives you telemetry of the drone's battery power, along with the battery power remaining in the controller. So that is cool too. Other buttons on this. This button here is for unlocking the motors. Once you have sufficient satellites, more than 9, you need more than 9 satellites to take off in GPS mode. You press this unlock button, and that will start the motor spinning for takeoff. Alternatively, you can bring both sticks down and out, and that will also start up the motors. Other buttons here, these 2 buttons here are for calibrating the gyros by pressing this button here, and that will calibrate the gyros for optical flow flying indoors. You want to put the drone on a flat level surface, press this button here, and that will calibrate the gyros before you go flying indoors for optical flow mode. And this button here is for calibrating the compass. You press this button here, and when you're outdoors, and you'll hear a beep, and then you're supposed to do 3 horizontal turns like so, and then 3 vertical turns like so. You'll hear a beep each time you do that. And that will calibrate the magnetic compass inside there. Very important for the GPS system to work properly, to have that compass calibrated before takeoff. So that is the LYRC S188. I forgot to mention you get this little packet here, and this has your cables for charging the battery and also for charging the controller. You have a micro USB type C and a micro USB and a type C for charging the battery. Those are the cables in here. You also get a spare set of propellers along with a tiny screwdriver for changing the propellers. So interesting drone. I'm worried about these propellers though. In hard landings you might ding them up, but we'll see when we go out in the field. Remember, as always, folks, I strongly recommend you fly in grassy fields. So, I forgot to mention, folks, the app this uses. This uses the RX Drone app, available on Play and on the App Store, again, to record video and photos. The RX Drone app has a lot of other features like follow me, circle me, and waypoints. I don't think this is set up to actually use that. There's no mention of that in the manuals about using follow me, circle me, and nor in the ads for this particular drone. I think this drone is simply a GPS fly drone. We'll see if those features work. I'll give them a try out in the field, but don't, in this price range, I don't see that actually working, but we'll see. Okay. Okay, now let's go out in the field and see how it flies. Hope you enjoyed the flight. Good morning, Quadcopter 101 here, and welcome to the indoor test facility of Quadcopter 101. It's my garage. Okay, we're going to fly this in optical flow mode without the GPS, folks. And to do that, you need to do a couple things, and I'll show you that. First off, you need to turn on the drone by holding down the power button and then placing it on a flat, level surface. And then turn on the transmitter. And the lights stop flashing on the drone. That means it's connected. Now, the first thing we want to do is do a gyro calibration. To do the gyro calibration, we need to press this button here. And we'll do that. And notice the lights flashing rapidly. And once they stop flashing, it's calibrated. Okay, so its nose level is around what it's at right now. Okay, next thing we want to do to fly indoors, we need to turn the GPS off. Right now it's on. It says it's on. And to do that, you hold the GPS button down until it beeps. Now it says GPS is off, and it also says mode 2. So we are in optical flow mode, and we're ready to fly. Now, to turn on the obstacle avoidance is off by default. So when we take off, the obstacle avoidance is not going to be working. To turn it on, we need to press the return to home button. This return to home button returns the drone home to you when it's in GPS mode, but when it's in optical flow mode with the GPS turned off, the return to home button turns the obstacle avoidance system on. So let's start the motors by down and out and bringing it up. First thing I want to do is see how that optical flow system is working. Is it holding position? And yeah, it seems to be working real well. Let's go a bit higher. It's actually working darn well, okay? Now, obstacle flow outdoors, I don't know if it'll work outdoors, but I haven't tried that. Use GPS when flying outdoors, folks. Use optical flow when flying indoors. Okay, now let's turn on that obstacle avoidance. Actually, I want it to maintain an altitude. Obstacle avoidance coming on. Okay, the lights flash when the obstacle avoidance is on. Let's see if it senses my hand. No. Well, let's fly forward and see if it... Now, in obstacle avoidance mode, it's very slow. Flies very slow. Wants to keep climbing. Don't climb. Trying to fly toward... Oh, and it sensed the wall. So... let's try it again. Trying to fly toward it, it bounces off. Try to fly toward it, it bounces off. So the forward obstacle avoidance works. How about the left side obstacle avoidance sensor? Boy, is that slow in optical flow or in obstacle avoidance mode, and I guess that's by design. Let's fly over by my sleds. Whoop, sensed the wall and bounced off. Trying to fly toward it. Obstacle avoidance is working very well, actually. Flying toward the wall. I kind of trust it. So yeah, it works. Well, it sends me. I'm kind of gutsy here. Yep, it sensed me. Boy, am I gutsy, huh? Trying to fly into myself. Don't try that at home, folks. But yeah, the obstacle avoidance system obviously does work on this. And the optical flow does too, which is cool. But don't want to fly into it. So that's all I want to show you, folks. Again, do that gyro calibration. Here, let's see if the back sensor works. I haven't tried the back sensor. I'm getting scared. Oh, it sensed me. No, it sensed me. And it's bouncing off of me. So all 4 sensors work. So we're going to put it on the ground, folks, and take it outdoors for its outdoor flight. So that's one more time checking the optical flow. It's working. One thing though, the barometric altitude hold wiggles around a bit. As you can see, they're going up and down. But horizontally, it's holding its position pretty well. So let's turn off optical flow. Optical flow is off now. Not optical flow, but obstacle avoidance is off. Let me go to higher rate. This is second rate. How about third rate? The yaw rate on this isn't really fast in third rate. So I really can't do a lot of tricks indoors here. But going back to beginner and landing it. So that's indoor flying with the S188. Optical flow does work on this. So we found that out. It works actually pretty well. And the obstacle avoidance works pretty well. But again, remember folks, these obstacle avoidance sensors only work indoors. Outdoors in sunlight, forget it. These get blinded outdoors. And I just figured out what these 2 lights are. They're just 2 pretty blue lights on the bottom of this. That's what they are. I guess those are not obstacle avoidance sensors. There's the emitter, and these are the receptors, I believe, on this. And there's the optical flow sensor right there. So, okay, let's turn this off and then take it out into the field and see how it flies with the GPS. So, hold on, folks. Okay, welcome to beautiful Pleasant Ridge Park for the test flight of the S188. Now, before we take off, I need to do that compass calibration. And to do that, I need to press this button here and take the drone and turn it 3 times horizontally, noting that all lights are flashing rapidly. Okay, I heard that beep. Then we put nose down and turn it again until we hear another beep. You need to do this every time, folks, before takeoff or when you change batteries. Okay, so compass calibration is complete. We should be good to take off. Now, I am going to start video recording by pressing the record button, like so. And we are starting the recording. And then I'm going to unlock the motors by pressing this button here. And then I'm going to give it some throttle. Because we have 19 satellites, folks. Always check before you take off to make sure you got sufficient satellites. But I have 19. Okay, let me turn it this way. And bring it down a little lower. And say, oh, a little lower, more. How do you like my shirt today, folks? Looks good, huh? Okay, so it seems to be really stable with the GPS. Let's take it up and see if we can see Lake Erie. We'll take it up to about 30 meters. Backing up. And how far are we? We are height 17 meters. Let me go a little bit forward too so I don't have to crane my neck so much to see it. Going up higher. 20 meters. Going up higher. And about, there's Lake Erie, 28 meters, we can see Lake Erie. Okay, let's lower that gimbal. The gimbal is this one here, so down, all the way down, to show you that you can tilt this downward. And, oh, more than downward. There I am. Hello up there. One more time, raising the gimbal back up. Right about there. Now let's go outbound. Fine outbound. See if we actually get, oh, we got some frozen frames there. That's the problem with Wi-Fi flyers. That happens. Every once in a while you lose connection. It says 39 meters. No, we're close to 100 meters right there. On my, there we go. Yeah, we are at 110 meters right now away. Still see Lake Erie. And let's go a little bit further, lower in the gimbal there. I want to see the road. Okay, well, I signal again. I'm pointing it upward. Point it downward. Down's to the left. Okay, there's a truck over there. Going a little further. And from there we are, it says 350 distance. The LCD screen is giving me bad distances. It's not 350 meters away. That's about 120 meters away. So, okay, let's press return to home from there and see what it does on a return to home. Does it return to home? It climbs. It's climbing. Goes up to, and it's coming back, straight back. Okay, let's see how close to the pad we get with this. Here it comes. Okay, we're directly overhead. I'm lowering the gimbal downward so you can see how close to the pad we get. And it should be lowering itself here shortly. Coming down. I don't know, we're going to be off by about a couple meters, it looks like, from the takeoff point. Staying in the picture, but it's coming down. But it does automatic return to home as promised. It's just it's about 3 meters off. Okay, once it gets lower, I'm just going to stop that right there and raise the gimbal up again. Up, up, up. And get in the picture. Because the next thing I want to try is this app. It's not advertised as having it, but this app does have Follow Me in it. So let's come a little lower. And lower, see me. Now in the upper left corner there, that drone icon, press on it. And let's look at follow. Let's see if that does work. And we want GPS follow. Does this have GPS follow? Well, golly, apparently it does. It's just not very good at it. Make sure it's above your head before you do that. That's probably why it's not advertised as such, because it's kind of wonky how it works, but it is working, kind of. Okay, here it comes again. So yeah, it has GPS follow, but it hasn't been perfected yet. Let's come down just a little bit lower. Point it toward me. Okay, let's stop that GPS follow. Going back into the icons here. Because the next thing I want to try is circle position. It also has circle. So, okay, GPS follow should be off. Pointing it toward me. Okay, then hitting circle. Turn on surround mode. No, I don't want to do that. So let's come out of that. What did I just do, folks? Coming out of that, going back to start fly. Okay, there we go. So yeah, that's why it's not advertised, folks. The advanced features really have not been ironed out on this. That follow kind of works, but I wouldn't count on it. Okay, let me sync up the cameras here. But as a beginner's GPS drone, yeah, if you don't care about the follow me and circle me and waypoints, it does seem to work. The camera looks reasonably well. It looks like a reasonable camera. But let's go again, outbound, and see if we can do FPV flying with it. Okay, I need to raise that gimbal up since I'm going to be going forward. I would need to go high. Wrong way as usual. Okay, one there. Okay, that should be it. Let's head outbound. See if I can go over to the, using Wi-Fi only. Heading over to the pump house, which I normally do to test FPV. Let's go up a bit higher too. Heading toward the pump house. Now, did we stop recording? I think we have. Let's start it recording again. And I'm not seeing any signal or indication that I'm recording. Let's try it through the app. Still not seeing any indication of recording, although I am recording the screen. But from right there, let's go forward some more. We'll just record the screen. Okay, flying toward the pump house. Flying toward the pump house. I'm not going to fly over the pump. Okay, we lost signal there, so I got to stop for a second, and there we go again. Now I'm going to try to turn it back toward me and fly back toward me using FPV. Dark. There's the flying toward the sun, and it gets dark. Okay, from that position there, let's do a return to home, automatic. Trying out automatic return to home again. There it goes, climbs up to about 20 meters. Yeah, 20 meters. Boy, it goes up fast though. It zipped up there real fast. And then it comes back again. Now, the next thing I want to try after it comes back down here is, okay, let's see how close we are now. It's even a little bit further off now. Looks about 5 meters off, I'm guessing, from the takeoff point. But let's see, come back down. Let's stop that. We're about 5 meters off, but turn to home. The reason being, I want to come down manually. And we're going to increase. Okay, that's second rate. I increased the rate on this. Let's get back in the picture again. Okay, down near the ground. Come on, camera, which way's up? That's down, wrong way. Look it up at me. So, yeah, again, how do you like that shirt? It is a nice tie-dye, isn't it, today? So, okay, going back up again, or no, let's keep it like that. Let's take it right back there. I went second. This is second rate. Let's see how fast it goes in second rate. So, pushing forward. I want to see how maneuverable it is. This is second rate. Yeah, let's go up one more. High rate. Not super zippy, but still. Okay, going back to beginner rate. And going up again. Now, you know, these obstacle avoidance on this does not work outdoors again, like I said, folks. So don't expect it to work outdoors. It just won't. Okay. Okay, it's recording video again. Let's go back up again one more time to see Lake Erie. One more time going up to see Lake Erie. And then from up there, I'll do a rotate of the area. Going up to about 30 meters. And lowering the gimbal. Always pick the wrong way. Lowers to the left. There we go. Okay, let's, too much. Too much. I always do that, overshoot. That's about good right there. Let's rotate from there and see the area. Showing you the camera. This is its camera, folks. You know, that's what you get in this price range. So, you know, if you really want the good cameras, you got to spend about another $100 more, unfortunately. But it is a GPS drone that you can fly. That most beginners can fly. It's a good learn to fly drone, in other words. Beginners learn to fly drone. So, and there we have it. So coming back down again. I'm just going to fly it around. So, but yeah, it's too bad that they didn't iron out the advanced features on this. That would have been nice. Encircle me, waypoints, follow me. Perhaps in a future version of this, along with including some stabilized video. And one other thing, let me bring it down here. I want to talk about that. Is, you know, you've probably been noticing the choppy video. And the reason for that, folks, is I don't see any antenna out of this thing, pointing out of this thing. Let's put it right overhead. Looking right beneath it there. Come down a little lower. The antenna is embedded inside there somewhere, so it's being shielded by components of this drone. So it'd been nice if they had put an external antenna to improve the FPV Wi-Fi reception from this particular drone. So, but yeah, very easy to fly outdoors, you know, with the GPS. GPS holds its position pretty well. Okay, let me sync up these cameras. Oddball design, you know, with that pusher prop on the bottom there. Most drones have it above. This one's got it below. Okay, it's just an oddball looking design. Again, now these cameras in front, I forgot to mention, there's only one real camera there. The other two are fake cameras. Just giving you an impression it has 3 cameras. It does not. It does not have 3 cameras. It's just one in the front and a camera below it for optical flow. But again, for that bottom camera, here, let's lower the gimbal all the way. For that bottom, the reason I want to lower it all the way, I want to do a rocket. Up, up, and away. Does that work? I'm assuming it worked. Okay. Boy, that push is way behind it. Okay. Which way am I going here? Trying to raise the camera back up. There we go. And turning to the left a bit and heading up on toward the road one more time. But the flight time on this is pretty good, I gotta say. Seems to be. We've been flying for quite some time here. Went up higher. But let's try to go to the road. Okay, lost signal there at about 100 meters. Now, that window up in the upper right corner there, the telemetry we're getting there, that's not 185 meters away, folks. Where it's at right now is about 120, although it's saying 200 meters on mine. So, you know, the telemetry information for distance, height seems to be right, but the distance is somewhat off. That would be about feet, I'm guessing. But we still got signal there, wherever we are. Let me lower the gimbal. Uh-oh, let's come home then. Low power warning. I guess it's coming home on its own. It is. Okay, again, as advertised, it returns to home on its own, on low battery. Well, that's nice. Let's see how close we are this time. Let me get behind it. Lower that camera.
Is it going to come down from there on its own? I'm assuming it should. It's taking its time if it is, but I'm going to bring it down manually. Okay, I'm pushing the down button because it doesn't. It seems to just come within 30 meters. So we probably have a, what do you call it? Geofence. Now let's try it. Let's see if we got a geofence. We'll fly out on, and I'm going to come down lower, but let's see if we bump into a geofence. Does it stop it from flying outbound? Yep, and there's its geofence. About 24 meters it says. Okay, doing a final return to home. Come back down. Final return to home on low battery. And let's see where we land. And stop recording. So, that's the S188. Interesting air drone. Okay. For beginners to learn to fly GPS. It's a good beginner's GPS drone. Reasonably priced, in a reasonable price range. It has a better camera than the other one that I tested recently, the other low-cost GPS drone that I tested recently. It looks like a better camera, especially on the sunny days. That other one just gets whited out because it has no automatic gain control. This one does seem to have a little bit of AGC, so that's good. So that's the S188. I hope you enjoyed this flight. This is Quadcopter 101, signing out.
Hi, Quadcopter 101 here again. Hey, if you want to get your own shout out in one of my future videos, make sure you subscribe to my channel. It's real simple. Just go to my channel page and click on that subscribe. And also make sure to click that bell button right next to the subscribe button. That way you get notified when I release a brand new video immediately and give you a chance to get that first shout out. So give it a try, folks.